Morning, Ryan.
Morning.
Hey, buddy. Ryan, what kind of adjustments might you have to make as an interior offensive lineman with Brady behind center rather than Jameis in terms of his mobility? And Ryan, you figure teams will try to rush him up the middle and try to flush him out. So how does that change anything about your mindset?
Yeah, definitely. Mindset for us inside is staying a lot firmer. Obviously, Tom is not a big scramble guy like Jameis was. But with that, Tom usually gets the ball out relatively quick and on time. So us up front, especially in the middle, keeping a firm pocket is going to be huge.
Okay, next is going to be Greg Allman.
Ryan, I have to ask you questions about the backside humidity situation with Brady here. I want to ask you what that's been like and how comfortable those conversations are with your new quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. It's an adjustment, a little bit of having a towel down the rear side, but if that's what Tom wants, and that's going to help him be a better quarterback, I'm gonna do what I have to do and all that. But no, it's been an adjustment. It's been easy adjustment. First couple of days it was a little uncomfortable, but just with like anything, you get used to it.
Okay, next is going to be Rick Stroud.
Hey, Ryan, I know you came in kind of early in the off season and went to Berkeley and things like that. Just the time you spent with Tom, how important is that? That center quarterback relationship is a close one physically and otherwise. What have you got to know about the guy?
Yeah, definitely. From a football standpoint, the CQ relationship is huge, and coming back a little bit earlier and just getting some time with him, and learning how he processes the game and looks at defenses. That's huge for me because I can kind of know what he's thinking when we come up to the line of scrimmage, how I'm going to make my blank point and stuff like that. So that's been a huge advantage coming into camp on obviously without having a spring football.
And what did you make of just, here's a superstar living legend quarterback, right? But he's a great teammate. So what was it like getting to know him on that level?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know what to expect at first. And when, first met him and all that, he's a down to earth guy. You would, just one of the boys in the locker room, that's who he is. And it's nice for sure.
All right. Next is going to be Jenna Lane.
I'm just curious how you guys' personalities are jiving because you're an intense guy, right? We know that. But also Brady is too. I mean, he's out there jawing with Jalen Ramsey, arguably the league's biggest trash talker. So that has to make practices really fun.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's nice having some intensity, and I think we feed off each other, and that's going to be huge.
Okay, next is going to be Ed and Stina.
Hey Ryan, also I know that you don't have a glove on your snap hand anymore. I know that was something that Tom had mentioned. How much of an adjustment has that been? And is there anything else that you had to make an adjustment for with Brady?
Yeah, the whole glove thing, that's an easy adjustment. You can get a little bit more nicks and stuff on the knuckles, but that's all things that can be managed and stuff like that. And with how humid it is here, not having a glove actually has helped me control the ball a little bit more, snapping and stuff like that. So, not a huge adjustment. Just busting the knuckles a little bit more. That's the only thing that comes with that pretty much.
Okay, next is going to be Steve Isbitz.
Ryan, what are your impressions being around Tristan Wirfs for a few weeks now and watching him on film?
Yeah, definitely. Tristan is a young guy, very talented, and he's coming along really well. Obviously not having a spring, there's some little bit of hiccups, but he doesn't usually make the same mistake twice, and that's huge as a young guy in his progression. Learning from mistakes and correcting those within 24 hours. That's huge, and he's a smart kid. He's picking up the offense really well, and he comes to work every day, which is big, and definitely a hardworking kid.
And what's the intensity level been for the first few days in pads? How would you, characterize that compared to other years and other teams you've been on?
Yeah, definitely. No, the first couple of days of pads are always a kind of a feeler. But the first couple of days, actual quote unquote training camp have been very intense, and that's awesome to see. A ton of competition from the offense to defense to special teams and stuff like that. So it's been refreshing that there's no lack of competition between the offense and defense. It's made for really good competitive practices, and iron sharpens iron. So you got a really good defense going against a really good offense. That's all that's going to do is make us better.
All right, next is going to be Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Ryan, wanted to ask you about Alex Cappa. What type of development you've seen from him going into his second year as a starter? It looks like he's really worked on his body this offseason. Yeah,
definitely. Cap is one of those young guys that has become a pro early in his career, and he's one of those guys that he progresses every day, and you can see that by his mentality. During the off season, coming into camp, he keeps taking a step forward every day, which is good for a young player.
Okay, next is going to be Tom Krasnicki.
Hi, Ryan. Good morning. My question is, as a group, an offensive lineman, you guys want to come in and establish the run game and have that mentality. I want to get your impressions on Ronald Jones and one of your newest teammates, LaShawn McCoy, so far in camp. How are they looking?
No, it's been awesome. Rojo's looking great. And obviously having Shady come in is going to be huge for that young that young running back group. Having a guy who's done it a long time, and you can already tell that he's helping out a lot early on in camp with these young backs and teaching them how to be pros and attack the game. But no, it's been awesome. The running back group this year has stepped it up a lot in run game. Obviously, we're not having any preseason games to really see, but in some of the live periods that we've had, their vision and everything has improved a lot, and it's exciting. I'm excited to get to actual game to see what they can do.
All right. Next, we're going to go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Ryan, I know you're kind of the resident grill master here, but my understanding is the new D tackle, Kyle Love, is pretty solid that way as well. Have you guys talked yet, traded recipes, anything like that?
Yeah, no, haven't had a chance to sit down and talk about that. I'm sure that'll come up in conversation before too long. But I saw a tweet or something about that a couple of days ago, so I kind of was excited and kind of want to chop it up with him and kind of see what his favorite thing to do is.
Thanks, man.
Okay, we have time for a couple more. Next, we're going to go to Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Ryan. A month ago, probably a lot of people were very concerned about if the NFL was going to be able to pull off a season. But seeing the success with some other sports teams right now, and as we inch closer to the start of the regular season, are you more confident now? Is there confidence building that the NFL is going to be able to pull this off safely?
Yeah, I think so. And a lot of it is guys are being smart. On our off days, guys are staying home. They're not going out and doing, silly things, dumb things, going out into crowded restaurants and stuff like that. So I think as long as the discipline can keep up through, the 16 weeks and through the playoffs, I think we'll be able to pull it off. You just don't want to be that guy that messes it up for everybody. And I think, a lot of NFL players, have that mindset of, we want to play and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure there is a season.
All right. Next, we're going to go to Ed Encina, followed by Jen Lane.
Hey, Ryan, your penalties went down significantly last year versus 2018. I mean, what would you kind of attribute that to while still kind of keeping the edge that makes you the player you are?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was, in 18, I was trying too much to have that kind of persona, and wasn't playing smart football. And going into last year, that's something I really worked on. Keeping my composure and making sure that I am not costing. I can't remember. I think I had 4 or 5 personal fouls in 18 and a ton of other penalties. That's just not smart football. And if you don't play smart football, you won't stay around very long. So that's something I just wanted to attack last year, was to knock down those stupid penalties and selfish penalties. And, but, just being smarter and playing smarter football is what I would say, attribute it to that.
And Arians just said that he considered you the leader of the offensive line last year. I mean, when you hear that from him, what does that mean?
Yeah, no, that's kind of, as a center, I always tell young centers, whether you want to be or you don't want to be, you're usually the leader of the group, in some form. And, it's awesome to, get the recognition and see that, he sees me as that leader and all that. So, it's a cool feeling, but, I'm kind of the silent leader that just makes sure everybody is staying on track and staying focused.
Last one's going to come from Jenna.
Yeah, Ryan, back to what Greg was talking about with the sweat situation. I mean, how did you and Brady even kind of approach that conversation?
It came up in our first conversation we ever had. After Tom signed, Jason had texted me and said, "Hey, Tom's going to call you here in a minute." And, the first about 5 minutes of conversation, we were just talking, hey, excited to come down and all that. And, it was right into business. He started talking about the sweat and what he's had centers in the past do, and, with the towel thing and the baby powder and, all that. So, it was, I knew it was coming. I had seen an article, last year or so, talking about just that. So I knew that conversation was going to be had. So it wasn't a big surprise. I just wasn't sure, what it would be like at first. But, like I was talking with Greg, it's a pretty easy transition. And now it's just, a couple extra things during practice I got to do, change out the towel, add a little bit more baby powder. It's really not a burden at all for me.
And he's had a pretty special group of offensive linemen over the years that have protected him. What's it like to now be part of that group?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And, it's cool snapping the ball to Tom and having a guy who's done it for so long at such a high level to come in. And it's really shown in a little bit of difference in intensity with the offense as a whole, and being able to, block for him and do, he does the things he does. It's just a cool experience. It's definitely excited that he's on our team.
Awesome. That's all for today, Ryan. Appreciate the time.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.
All right, everyone. Chappelle Russell will be joining us shortly.